Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw looks like he's put on weight again, so I'm not sure.
Oh, does he? Oh no.
Yeah, waste man.
What about, is it Maguire officially captain? Yeah.
Yeah, Maguire's captain. Yeah.
If I was Oli, I'd give it to Rashford. My opinion.
Really?
Rashford.
I'd give it Rashford. I would take Rashford at Chelsea tomorrow.
Serious?
Yeah, he's my second favourite Man United player after Pogba.
You'll take Rashford tomorrow?
I'd take Rashford tomorrow at Chelsea. 100%.
Yeah, Rashford's sick. Yeah,
Rashford's unbelievable. But I think Man United fans don't appreciate him. Do you know what I mean?
No, I appreciate him, but
I mean, like the general Man United.
He's still raw. He still makes silly mistakes. His decision making at times. But he's young. He's young.
And he'd be my number 9 at Chelsea. I'd have him as number 9. Werner on the
left.
Oh,
Lawrence, no. He can't play number 9. This is where you don't watch enough United games.
Where would you play?
You're busy in goal playing for Leyton Orient, man. You're not watching the games. That's what it is. What's happening, people, and welcome to another episode of Everyone's a Pundit. And today I'm joined with 2 guys. There's usually 4 of us in the house, but we're just going to run things with 3 of us today. I'm a pundits in the house, man. Can we get Patrick? Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yo, it's Patrick Tyrant, aka Young Swaggy Daniels. When you see the T, when you see the P, it represents T.
Hey, he's back. He's back. It's been a while since we've heard it.
Yes, it's been a while.
He's back, man. And below, some of you will know from my last podcast that I've done on Views from Inside. I'm pleased to be joined. Anyway, let him introduce himself. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Lawrence Vigouroux, goalkeeper at Leyton Orient. I'm happy to be here. See what you guys have to talk about football.
Wicked.
Let's do it.
Everybody, Lawrence is a Chelsea fan for all of the audio listeners and YouTube. So
Side of London.
So we've got the blue side of London in the house. We've got the white side of London. We was meant to have a Liverpool fan on today, but he's unfortunately been unable to make it. And yeah, today's topics, people, are going to be, we're going to have to get into Timo Werner, who looks set to join Chelsea quite soon. Also, we're going to discuss Liverpool as well, taking to their knees regarding, the Black Lives Matter movement. So we're going to discuss that and how, black players and black referees, managers are represented in English football. And the last topic we'll just discuss as well is about the games are going to start soon and they're going to be without fans. So we're going to discuss on how that impacts the lesser teams. Does that give an advantage to the bigger teams who obviously have better players and more skillful players, X, Y, and Z. So yeah, man, just to get into it, people. If you do watch this video and you end up enjoying, please share with your people in your WhatsApp groups, on your social media. Give us a like as well. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell if you enjoy the video. So just getting into it, as I said, Timo Werner, boy, will look set to go to Liverpool. What we saying? Klopp apparently has called him up and said that we can't sign you now because of financial reasons. Apparently as well that they've got a huge wage bill. I don't know the exact figure. It's in the region of 300 million. And their chief executive came out during the coronavirus pandemic saying that, these times, when they were going to furlough their staff and then they reversed it, they then came out and said that, these are unprecedented times and that they're suffering losses. So they've had to pull the plug on signing Werner because £50 million is a lot of money to them for someone who's allegedly just going to sit on the bench because they can't put him into the first team right now. And then obviously Roman Abramovich has come with his checkbook. He's got that paper ready and he's coming.
It's been a while since he's
What,
he's gone and done that, to be fair. So
you was on the transfer ban though, wasn't you?
yeah, he was on the ban, but then before that, like we were selling before we were buying. So I think with the Hazard and Morata money, I think
That helps as well.
good.
So yeah, what's your take on this situation then, Lawrence? Being a Chelsea fan, what's your take on it?
I think it'll be a good signing. Tammy Abraham's done well this season, but I think he needs a bit more competition. Obviously, we had Batshuayi, and I'm not really a fan of Batshuayi. So, and of course, then Giroud, who was out of nowhere, come back into the side, scored a few goals. So, I think it will just add a bit more. We'll have a bit more firepower up front, a bit more competition. Personally, I think I've watched a lot of Werner recently since it's the only football that's been on.
Yeah.
And he likes to drift out to the left when he plays. So, we could even play him out there, put Ziyech on the right, put Ziyech in the 10. We've got Mount. We've got loads of options now. Pulisic as well. So I think we'll be all right, to be fair. I think the board are finally allowing a manager to make signings for the first time, because we had Sarri, the board were making the signings. Conte, board were making the signings. So I think Lampard wanted Werner. And I think it's a good signing, to be fair, for where we are as well. We're not really challenging for the title, are we? So, do you know what I mean?
That's right, man. You're not challenging for the title. And so you think that these are Lampard signings, so the Ziyech and Werner,
yeah, I think
Lampard
the
signings.
Ziyech one especially, I think obviously he would have seen him up close. Do you know what I mean? If we had Ajax in the groups. So
yeah,
he'd have seen him and been like, probably he's gone, I want that player. And for us to get him for what we got him for in these times, before the coronavirus, 35 million, it's not a lot of money at all in this.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's a snip for what we're
the
living
talent
in.
that he is, yeah. And
exactly,
he's a talent as player. He's a very good player.
How much did you say? 35 mil?
35 million, yeah.
What for
pounds?
Ziyech?
For Ziyech, yeah.
Yeah. It's a crazy price, man, for that level of talent, to be honest.
And I think now we've got some great wingers now at Chelsea. Like we've got Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi, Ziyech, who can play wide. Mount can play wide. Got loads. Werner can play on the left. Do you know what I mean? It's abundance of talent now, and they're all young. It's not like we got anyone that's over. As long as we get Willian and Pedro out, and Batshuayi out as well. You know what I mean? We're refreshing the squad. I think that's good.
Willian and Pedro look set to leave, don't they? When
I was reading the other day he's going Spurs. I'm reading he's going Spurs.
I hope Willian doesn't come. I was on a Spurs podcast last week, and it was divided. A few of us were saying that we want Willian. Well, we take him because he's obviously a talent and he's got a winner's mentality and blah blah blah. I was like, nah, I don't want him, especially after he done us dirty before.
He's over 30 as well, isn't he?
That's it. Yeah, I mean, I just don't see the point, really. I don't see the point. Of course he's a good player, but I think that's a backwards move for Spurs, and would just show exactly where they are right now, as opposed to Chelsea. We're getting rid of him and bringing in younger, fresher, more exciting talent.
Yeah, I agree with that, to be fair.
Yeah, it would speak. It would show you exactly where the two clubs' ambitions lie. If you lot obviously get rid of him and we take him, I think it's.
But I mean, I don't know if Spurs have the money to go out and buy someone for 45.
Yeah, I know.
But,
you know what I
mean?
Yeah, it's
at the moment anyway.
Yeah, and this is the thing. I think we've all got to take into consideration the coronavirus that's happened. And that's taken a lot of the money away from clubs in terms of what money they had to spend on transfers. But
I'm reading. Recently, we're trying to get Chilwell now. Another 55.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And
that must be the Hazard money. It must be that, because Chelsea ain't got. I don't think we're. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you lot are losing money on a yearly basis.
Exactly. So,
but allegedly the Werner money is all for Morata, because before he went to Atletico Madrid, I mean the loan fee was quite big, and then obviously you guys sold him onto thing. So allegedly you guys are actually making a profit off that money when you So even when you spend get Werner in, you've not really spent any money as opposed to what you had with Morata. So it's really,
and we still got the Hazard money in that sense.
The Hazard money still trickling in as well.
Yeah. So it kind of makes sense how they.
Personally, I wouldn't got buy Chilwell if I'm Chelsea. I wouldn't buy it personally.
You wouldn't?
Nah, not for 60, 70 million. Nah.
Is that how much it is?
Yeah, they're saying 70 to 80, less than budget on their evaluation.
That's the Premier League tax, in it. You know?
No, it's the English player
Premier
tax.
League,
the English player
tax.
Yeah. But the
Yeah, I mean,
thing
I
is,
wouldn't pay. I think there's good, better left backs out there. Not better, but maybe you won't get someone better. Like you get someone for cheaper. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Prem ready.
Yeah, he's
You know
played
what I
in it
mean?
already. Do you know what I mean?
How old
So
is he roughly? He's about 25,
24, 20,
Yeah,
24, 25.
Yeah. It kind of makes sense, to be honest. And he's saying he wants to make the move as well. So
Yeah,
that's
that always
quite
helps.
interesting.
Might make
Yeah.
the price go down a bit more, to be fair.
He's
force the
20. He's
move.
23.
23 years old, so
23. He'll be
he's quite
24
young.
at the end of this year. So
Okay. So yeah, he's still got a lot of time.
I think Chilwell's a quality player. 70
Yeah, he
million
is.
pound worth of player. I'm not sure, but he's a quality player. But
I mean,
Leicester
if it
drive
means
a
we get
hard
rid of,
bargain.
I mean, if it means we get rid of Emerson and Alonso, then I'm all for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we need to just get rid of those players. Do you know what I mean? Like we've got a lot of deadwood. Do you know what I mean? At Chelsea, I think Spurs are the same. Spurs are the same. Like they've got a lot of players that
exactly ain't really cutting it. Yeah, they're there, but they're not there. Yeah, like your Aurier's. We've got. I mean, in my opinion, obviously Aurier, Danny Rose, even Ben Davies. He's solid, but you could do better than him. Really,
I think Vertonghen's going, isn't he?
Vertonghen's going to go. Vertonghen wanted to stay. From what I've been hearing, he wanted to stay, but we're just like, you know what, it's time to say goodbye, kind of thing. In a respectful way, obviously, he's served the club really well. He's been a great, ambassador for the club, but you kind of can see now that his level has dipped, and it is time to move him on before he gets really embarrassed next season. Because there were certain games this year where he was out of his depth.
Yeah, I was at the game, the Spurs Chelsea one. And
okay.
To be fair, Mount ran him ragged.
Yeah,
exactly. It was just the movement. It was just off the ball movement, and he was just.
He ain't got the legs for it no more, has he?
Go, yeah. He didn't know where to go, whether to stay out wide. Because Chelsea were bringing the overlap every time. Mount was coming inside. He was chucking Mount, and then Azpilicueta had the whole of it to drive down.
He ain't got the legs anymore, and it's a shame that we wouldn't. Again, we were speaking about it in the Spurs podcast. It's a shame that we won't really get to give him the send off he deserves, because he has been a fantastic player for the club, and because of this whole no fans in the stadium, coronavirus stuff, we ain't really gonna get to give him the ovation and the send off he deserves, which is a big shame. But it's just one of those things, unfortunately.
Just going back to something that we was talking about earlier with regards to Spurs, though, Pat. When you was talking about looking at Willian shows where the two clubs are at.
Yeah.
Doesn't it actually just show where you're like the manager that you've got? Because let's remember, you are now managed by Jose Mourinho, who he tried to bring Willian, or was reportedly trying to bring Willian to Man United, and now that's, I don't think it's necessarily where the clubs are at. It's where your manager's at, because we know the type of signings that Jose likes, which is his old, ready players now.
Yeah.
And this is the problem with Jose, is he tries to bring, or in my opinion, tries to bring people in now to win now, and he doesn't think about long term, and then he's gone in a couple of years.
Well, I do think if Jose really had the backing of the board, I mean, obviously we don't know what's going on, but we've all been hearing that a lot of clubs aren't going to spend money. Corona's really put a hold on the bank books and checkbooks and blah blah blah. But I do think if Jose actually had the backing, he would go after a younger, fresher player than Willian. But I think because Willian would be coming over on a free, wouldn't he? That also is a big plus. And the fact that he knows him and he's worked with him. Willian's been saying a lot of nice stuff about Jose. So, and he doesn't have to leave London and all of that.
Exactly,
stuff.
I was going to say that. He doesn't have to leave London.
It's a massive advantage whether he goes to Arsenal or Tottenham, because those are the two clubs that are linked with him at the moment.
Yeah.
The big thing is that same with when Giroud was talking possibly about leaving. It was to Spurs because he wouldn't have to leave. The kids don't have to move. All of that stuff. It's huge. It makes a big difference. But yeah, I think if Jose had a choice, we'd probably go after someone younger and fresher. But with what's going on at the moment, it makes sense. But yeah,
I'm not sure he would go for someone younger. I think if he had the money, he'd go and buy Matic. He'd go and buy Matic. And then he'd take Willian. He'd get Lampard out of retirement.
This is what I'm saying, and I agree with you, Lawrence. This is Jose Mourinho, man.
And you know what makes me laugh about Mourinho is when he came back to Chelsea the second time. Yeah. He outcasted Mata ridiculously. I don't know if you remember. He was not playing, and the fans were singing Mata's name, and Mata wasn't playing. Then there was one game.
He was your player the season before. Yeah,
the season before.
He was your player the season. Exactly. Yeah.
we had a game at White Hart Lane and we were getting battered first half. We were losing 1-0 and he brought on Mata and Mata changed the game. We drew 1-0 in the end. Terry scored for us. And from there, he just like completely outcasted him. And then he sold him to Man United. Then he gets the Man United job and then Mata's all of a sudden one of his most crucial players.
I know. It's a strange. That was strange. I really didn't understand that at the time because Mata, I thought, was sick, and he was easily one of your best players. He got player of the season, and all of a sudden Jose came in and just said, "Nah, he's not."
Don't want him.
Sometimes managers come in.
Players of the season 2 years running, didn't he?
Lawrence?
Oh, was it
2 years running? Yeah.
Wow. You know, sometimes big managers come in and they have to make a big, like, either signing or they have to make a big, like they have to throw their weight around and show why they're the Don or the chosen one and all that stuff. But
I think it happened with Mourinho at Spurs, didn't it? Like he just didn't play Eriksen. Eriksen was, but I think Eriksen wanted to go anyway. But still,
with
the
Eriksen thing, it was kind of. But then to be fair, I think
Ndombele as well.
Yeah, Ndombele had a lot of issues. To be fair, like he was just struggling. I've seen him though. Actually, I was watching some highlights from the training game. He looks fresh now. He looks
Does he look trimmed down?
Yeah. He's lost some timber.
What?
Yeah.
So whereas some people are putting on weight, he's lost weight.
He's actually looking good. He's looking a lot slimmer. Dyer's looking hench as well. We're ready for you, Sam.
I've seen that. You're offering Dyer a new deal as well. I've seen
that.
He's a Jose player, isn't it?
Yeah, Jose loves him. Jose loves him. He wanted him at Man United as well at the time, didn't he? So
just find it strange, like for Spurs, they were fighting for the title a few years back, and now you just, I don't know. Do you agree with the Pochettino sacking?
Yeah, I do. At the time, it had to be done, man. We were awful. I mean, we hadn't won a game away from home for the whole of that 2019. Exactly. You're laughing. That's crazy. Like the teams that we were getting battered by Brighton. We were just getting played off the park by a lot of teams, and there was something not right. Obviously, Pochettino was an amazing manager, and I've got a lot of admiration and respect for him, what he done and the level he took us to. But there was a lot going on behind the scenes which didn't look right.
But then are you better now?
That's the important question there.
Because before we had all these injuries, we were actually doing all right. We was up to like 4th or 3rd in the table. We were looking good, and then obviously we just got battered with the injuries. So I can't really answer that right now, to be honest. We'll see on that. We'll see.
I think the break for you lot has done wonders anyway.
Yeah.
Harry Kane was injured, Son was injured.
Exactly. And Ndombele was out of shape. Who else was out for a while? Sissoko was injured. He's now back. Everyone's looking good again. So to be honest, we're probably one of the luckier teams in the sense of the timing of
I can agree with that, to be fair. I think for Chelsea and United, for example, I think the Corona's kind of killed us a little bit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The momentum.
Well, for United, us in particular, we had the momentum, man. We had building at that time.
I wasn't looking forward to the Man United game. I think we would have got battered back then. You had the momentum, you had all the freshness, you had the players that were, now obviously you can't call it because you don't know what anyone's going to look like. But for us, it's good because we've got a lot of key players back. They've all had time to really come. No one's been rushed back. Everyone's been.
Exactly.
You know what I mean,
what do you think, Lawrence? Now that obviously, as you said, we're coming back into the new season now. Not new season after Corona. How do you think that Chelsea are going to pick up from where they left off before? Do you think it will be a slow start, or do you think that they can kick on?
Well, I think it helps. The first game we got back is Villa away. So, and to be fair, we're much better away than home. So, I don't know. I think that's a good place to start. Do you know what I mean? You look at Arsenal, they got City away. Like it's just tough for Arsenal straight away. Do you know what I mean? Whereas for us, we go to Villa, it's a nice game. Hopefully get 3 points there, and then I don't even know we got next after that. But I don't think our running is as tough as everyone thinks. So as everyone else is.
So let's actually segue into what I wanted to discuss as well about the coming back now and no fans. How much of an impact do you think that will play on that game that you have there away to Villa with them not having no fans?
Well, I think personally, for the lower teams, it will help them. The teams that are struggling, it will help them. Yeah, simply because when they're not doing well and they're losing or whatever, those fans will get on their backs. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Say if they're getting battered by Chelsea, I think it'll be more pressure. Obviously, you're playing to stay in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I think with the top teams, I think it'll be they deal with that weekly week out. Do you know what I mean? So I think for the lower teams, I think it'll help them. Personally, in my opinion, I think if you're not doing well, I think they're the first people that you hear in it. So
I think it'll be the other way around, to be honest. Because if you think about, I mean, if you're like a Tottenham or a Chelsea, and you got your way to, like
Aston Villa,
or
even or Burnley, or even I was going to say Sheffield United, but they've had a good season. But typically, those kind of games, you fear going away to them because of the crowd, because of the hostile environment. Like even a Crystal Palace, Selhurst Park, where the fans are all over you, aren't they? And then stadium.
Yeah, no,
now you don't have that. So I think it's. I mean, obviously the lesser clubs have even argued the case that if we resume, will there be relegation because they don't think it's fair because of previously you had fans in the stadium and now you don't. And then also now, I don't know if you heard, they're trying to get this. A lot of the smaller clubs like your Newcastles, Watford, I think even Aston Villa, they're asking now for cardboard cutouts to be put in the stadium because they're really
they've had that in Germany, haven't they?
Yeah. I think Mossenbach or whatever they're called. They put cardboard cutouts in the stadium. So that's a whole other thing where they're really fearing this whole no crowds, and they don't think it's going to give them the advantage that they had before. So yeah, it's interesting that you said that. I do agree with what you're saying in that sense, where the fans get on your back, but also on the other side.
On the other side, when it's going well, you haven't got the fear.
Exactly.
You haven't got the fear factor anymore.
Yeah. So actually, Lawrence. So obviously, you play professional football, so you can give us a real insight here, actually, into this. If you are in a relegation battle, isn't it that the crowd, even if you go 1-0 down, do you feel then that they get on?
Feel it. Yeah. Feel it. It's like almost like it's Groundhog Day. Like it's gonna happen again. Here we go.
Okay.
We're gonna lose another game. Do you know what I mean? You can feel it, and there's a lot of tension. Like you misplace a pass, fans are on you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think for the lower clubs, it could help them in the sense that if they're not playing well, they won't get the crowd. No one will be getting on
them. Yeah.
So I think in that sense it'll help, but I agree with Pat as well. Like the other sense that like the other bigger clubs when they're traveling to like a Villa or a Burnley, there's no fear factor now. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no, because but I think not for our teams, but I think for Arsenal, like typically they used to struggle going to like a Burnley or to I mean, I think they'll find it much easier now. Do you know what I mean? So
I say not our teams, Man United. That's what has been our Achilles heel this season. Is away games. We've been struggling away from home. Well, not necessarily away from home, against the lesser teams, whether it be home or away. That's been Man United's problem. But definitely away from home, we've struggled this season. So this may be a good thing for us. Do you know what I mean? Because as we said, the top teams have the superior quality, don't they?
Yeah, so, exactly. The way they zip the ball around, the way they move it around, the players they've got.
Exactly.
I think
if the players are on it.
Yeah. I think when the games resume, you will see. I think you'll see the difference now in the quality between the two,
between the two sides.
Yeah, I think so. I think you'll see that now.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing because I need to check what my fixtures are. I say my fixtures, United's fixtures are like what you said, Lawrence. Man United's fixtures are quite. We've got most of our big games. I think it's just Leicester and Spurs. We've got left to play. Spurs away and Leicester away. But we got all the big games out of the way. Obviously, we duppied Chelsea both times this season.
What was the score in the away one?
What, Chelsea? Man U?
Yeah,
was it 2-1? 2-1 or 2-0?
Yeah.
2-1.
2-1, I think it was.
Martial scored that beautiful header. And, they say that Wan-Bissaka don't get assists. That was a beautiful cross there, Nice.
Tottenham have got Man United first, then West Ham. Man United at home, West Ham at home. Then we got Sheffield United away. And it's not showing me after that.
We've got Villa away and then City at home.
Villa away. City at home, yeah?
Yeah, and then West Ham away, and then Watford at home.
Interesting. It's gonna be interesting, lads.
Can't call it at the moment, isn't it? It's hard to call, how things are gonna go.
I don't think you can call it because we don't know how the players are gonna come back from this whole situation, and I think that's the biggest thing for me. Like with regards to the Man United Spurs game. Had this been before lockdown, I would have been quietly confident. I'm never 100% confident going into a big game anyway, because you never know what can happen, and it's just going to be our luck for Jose to turn up and spoil our fun. Do you know what I mean? But definitely now, since we've been in this pandemic and football's been locked off now since March, I just don't know. We can't call it.
It's a long time, man. You can't call it.
Deals with the situation the best, you know.
Well, we need Spurs to beat you, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely.
Yeah, I think you're only 3 points behind, aren't you? 3 points behind.
Yeah. We was on your heels, man, and I was confident we were gonna get.
We beat Villa and you lose to Spurs. I think 6 points ahead. You know what I mean? We need that.
It's a lot, isn't it?
We've got to basically win every game. I mean, we've got 9 games left. We have to possibly win at least 8 of them for us to even have a chance of getting into the Champions League, which is it's tough. So obviously, you know, you're gonna always be optimistic and believe, but it's a big ask, man, considering how we've been playing. But the good thing is it's a fresh start, and you just got to take it as it comes and see what happens.
Fresh start. That's the main thing.
Just going back, actually, obviously we don't have the Liverpool fan on today that I wanted to ask him, so I wanted to get you guys' views on this. With Liverpool, and I've mentioned this on a previous podcast, actually, about their front three, and apparently this is one of the reasons as to why they haven't signed Werner.
Yeah.
Their front three is obviously so formidable, you're not going to drop any of them. Do you think that could be a potential problem for them now going forward, in the sense that they're not going to really be able to strengthen with top quality that's going to be prepared to come and sit on the bench?
They're going to have the same issue that we've had, where a top player, a top striker will be like, but Harry Kane plays every minute of every game.
Yeah.
And this is what I've been saying as well. It's got to come to a time where Harry Kane plays 60, 70 minutes, 75 minutes, and he comes off. Or we play with 2, we swap it around. Kane can't play every single minute of every game, and it's the same with their front three. If they're playing week in and week out, who's going to come in? Divock Origi only plays when someone's injured.
Yeah.
Shaqiri, you've never even heard of him since.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Well, I forgot he was even there. So
I forgot he was even there, to be fair. Who else they got? I don't even know who else they got.
Yeah, I think that's it, really. That are they bought in that
I don't want to say.
Yeah. I didn't want to say the Asian player. I didn't want to say Chinese and he's Japanese and Japanese. So they brought in the Asian guy, and again, he's not really featured. So it's difficult, man. But yeah, if I was Werner, I'd look at that, because everyone goes on about how amazing Firmino is and he's the best player in the world and all that stuff. So it's like. So it's like, would Werner get in there in front of Firmino? Probably not right now. So, yeah, and he's not going to get in front of Salah and Mane. So,
yeah. What do you think, Lawrence?
I think, the same thing. I think it can be but then again, I think if you're a player that wants to just win things, I think you can almost half accept playing here and there if you're going to win. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's not enough, though, surely.
But that's not. But I can see why someone like Shaqiri went there, or I can see why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Shaqiri,
not a Werner.
Werner's rated as one of the top forwards. Yeah.
Like for £50 million, you need to be playing. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You're gonna pay £50 million for someone. If I was Werner, I think I don't think I'd go Liverpool. I don't think I'm going to play enough. Do you know what I mean?
Talking about that, what do you think about how do you think Tammy Abraham's looking at this whole situation? What do you think he's doing right now?
I think he's
to be fair,
I don't think Werner will play in that position.
Yeah.
And also as well, he wasn't playing anyway, like after Giroud come in.
Okay.
Tammy lost a bit of form and Tammy was on the bench. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
wasn't that because he was injured?
Yeah, he was injured, but then he come back and then he was out of form.
Okay.
He was out of form for a bit. And Giroud was playing. So I think personally, I think Werner can play on the left as well. So that's you know, I personally wouldn't play him on the left. I'd play him up front. I'd play Hudson-Odoi on the left. I'd put Pulisic in the 10, and I'd put Ziyech on the right. That's what my front.
So Mason Mount drops out then. Mason Mount and Tammy drop out.
Mason Mount and Tammy drop out. But Mason Mount, very good. I really like Mason Mount now. And I like Tammy as well, you know, like they're both good. They're both good players, and for what they are, what they've done for us this season, I think. I mean, they can be very good impact players. And if Werner or one of them 3 players behind got injured, I'd have no problem putting them 2 in. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. That's the beauty of it. If obviously Werner does go there, and you got Ziyech, your depth in quality doesn't change if someone gets injured.
Exactly.
And that is key. That's why your Man United, your Man Cities do so well, because when somebody does get injured or drops off, the person that comes in is just as good.
Just as good, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why with Spurs, when Harry Kane got injured and Son got injured,
and Son get injured, you see the difference.
You can see it straight away.
It's straight away. You know what I mean? It's the levels of the players, on the second tier is such a huge drop off.
It's a big drop,
Yeah, that's where we struggled. We need to get in better players, but it's a problem where because these guys are always guaranteed so many minutes, the coach has got to reassure the talent that they're going to play. And then obviously you've got agents and everyone else saying, are you going to make that move and sit around? It's not worth it. And yeah, it's difficult. It is difficult.
If I'm a manager, if I was a manager now, I think United have got a very good squad. Like when everyone's fit, United have got a good squad. But I just don't know. And I like Oli. I think Oli was getting bad in the beginning, and I think he's done well. Like, to be fair,
a very good job. To be fair,
whoa, let's hold on about very good job. Let's
let's
not go too far there, Pat.
Still in the mix. You're still in the mix. You had a good Champions League run last year. I mean, this year obviously it wasn't, but yeah, I think he's done a good job. Man.
He ain't done a good job. Yeah, let's downgrade it to good. Let's not say very.
You think it's just a good job? Yeah.
I'm 50-50 on, like, I say I'm 50-50. I was Ollie out for a hot minute. I personally don't like the way we play, but then I saw the introduction of Bruno and things started to look a lot different. We started to play a different style of football.
And you're missing your best player.
Exactly.
Pogba. You know what I mean? So.
But Lawrence, when Pogba was playing, he was playing him further back. Do you know what I mean? And he did that because he wants him to get more touches on the ball, but that's not where Pogba's effective. Pogba's effective further forward. So I think he's made some fundamental mistakes. I'm not quite sure of his tactics, but I agree though that it's not been all doom and gloom because we have had big injuries as well throughout the whole season. Martial was injured for a long period of time. Pogba's been out for the whole season. We basically had no midfield. Matic was out. Scott McTominay was out. You know what I mean? Then bloody, just when we was cooking on gas as well, Rashford gets injured when he was smashing up things. So there's been issues there with regards to injuries. And I do feel actually that Ollie's managed that situation all right. It's where I'm not feeling it is we've dropped some points in games where we should not be dropping points.
Yeah.
And I guess that would be the same for Chelsea as well, because we're only 3 behind you, so you must have dropped points where you should.
Loads of points.
Same with Spurs and X, Y, and Z. But I think the judgment day will come at the end of the season, man. If Ollie can get
do you reckon if you don't get top 4, Ollie's gone?
He has to go. In my opinion, and we go and get Poch, because that's our opportunity to go. Because I do actually fear. I would rather Pochettino. I think Pochettino is the perfect manager for us. I would rather Pochettino. So I
especially with his record of bringing in young players. Do you know what I mean? You got Greenwood coming through.
Yeah, man.
Wan-Bissaka's young. You know what I mean? You got good young core at the club.
And when Poch was cooking on gas, the football that Spurs were playing was phenomenal.
Yeah, great football.
So that would be my ideal. That would be my ideal pick, man.
Do you think Man United would be that cutthroat though to do that to Ollie right now?
I think if we don't get top 4, look, you got to look at it. Liverpool nearly won the league last season. They're winning the league now.
Yeah.
And City have dominated for the last however many years.
3 years. Yeah. And they've already won a trophy anyway this year.
But Leon, wait. If you sack Ollie, don't forget, you say Liverpool have nearly won the league and then they won the league. Yeah, they're going to win the league now, yeah? That team has been building for 3, maybe 4 years. That core of players. Yeah, 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Klopp's been there for 4 years now, I think.
Yeah.
That team's been building for that period of time. Do you know what I mean? To get to that point. Do you know what I mean? You've got to give that. For me, if we don't get top 4, I wouldn't sack Lampard. We've got 4 or 5 young English players that want to play for the club. Do you know what I mean? And we've never had that since John Terry. Players come through the academy.
Well, with the signings you guys are bringing in, it looks like you're fully behind Lampard. So either way, but I don't think, going back to what you're saying, Sims, I don't think you guys will get rid of Ollie if you don't get top 4. I don't think you will. I just have a feeling. I don't know. Exactly. I just think
sentimental can't play a part, man. It can't play a part.
I think it will, though.
And we can't keep falling further and further behind, because if we don't reach top 4, that means Chelsea do. That means Chelsea have reached top 4 with an inexperienced manager, more inexperienced than Ollie, with a transfer ban as well. That's what that means. That means that Liverpool win the league are one of our biggest rivals, if not the biggest rivals that we have. Man City,
but they can win one. They can win one. They haven't won in 50 years, 30 years, whatever.
Well, this is it. This is another thing that I'm thinking is I don't see Liverpool dominating for a period of time. I think they're gonna fall off soon, and that might people might think that I'm hating, but I'm basing the fact that they're not improved. We were talking about Chelsea.
If Liverpool don't add to the pot, then I agree with what you're saying.
I think the midfield will get overrun. The midfield's not good enough,
every year, every top team, if it's Chelsea, if it's Real Madrid, if it's Barcelona, if it was Man United, even when Arsenal were doing their thing, they always look to improve. There's always areas where you can strengthen. And this Liverpool team haven't really done that. And it looks like they come out and said they're not really going to do that this year. Don't get me wrong, they got a decent squad, but you need to improve on it.
They need to improve the midfield. 100% that midfield needs improving. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't have that to go. They just lost to Atletico as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Atletico are doing awful. They're doing awful. No, not awful, but for what they are, they're not doing nowhere near as good. They've come to England, beat our best team. And in my opinion, that shows that the Prem, this is my opinion only, the Prem is not that great, in my opinion, in terms of compared to other leagues. I don't think the Prem...
I don't know about that, man. I don't think
the Prem is the best league in the world. But that's just my opinion. I think Spain's better because a team like Atletico, who are third, not doing that great, or fourth in the Liga.
Yeah, but that's... I don't know, man. I don't know. I hear what you're saying, but that's a one-off game, isn't it, really? It's not
and obviously City went to Real Madrid. They battered Real Madrid as well.
Exactly, and typically...
But Real Madrid again have been struggling.
Yeah, I think that Premier League is probably the strongest league right now.
Most exciting.
Team for team. Yeah, most exciting.
I think
what you got to look at is the top teams, innit? That's you got to compare your top to because you can't look about the lesser teams. You got to compare your top teams to the top teams in Spain and your top teams in France and in Germany. And I do think that if you put them in a league or whatever, I think the Premier League would actually win, man.
I think so. I think even like
Barca, Real Madrid.
But it's only Barca and Real Madrid.
You got Juve, you got Juve as well. Inter Milan have strengthened. They bought Lukaku.
That's about it in there. There's two teams to every league. Really. Whereas in the Premier League, you've got City,
6, 7.
Liverpool.
I think even Wolves will go over to and beat a lot of teams in Germany and Spain.
You know what?
Wolves, you're laughing. I think it sounds funny, but I'm being serious. I think Wolves will do a job over a lot of teams right now, man. They play good football and they know how to defend as well. So
yeah. I think Wolves are good, to be fair.
Yeah,
like Wolves,
good. Yeah, Wolves are a good side, man. Come on.
Yeah, that shows the strength of the Premier League because they're like, the 7th or on paper 7th, 8th, or 9th best team. I know they're doing better than that, but it just goes to show. Even Leicester right now, I think we'll bang over.
Yeah, Leicester have got a good squad, man. Leicester have a very good squad.
But that's the strength of the Premier League.
And a good manager as well.
Yeah.
Very good manager. But I mean, would you take him at United, Sems?
Who, Brendan Rodgers? See, everybody asks me this question.
That's a very good question.
It is a good question. And I've said no in the past, and I don't know why I've said no. I really rate Brendan Rodgers.
Just because he was manager at Liverpool?
I think so. Sometimes the hate does get ahead of me. Do you know what I'm saying? I ain't going to lie. For me, we've got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Brendan Rodgers is a better manager than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So in that respect, I would say, of course, we'll take him.
An absolute no-brainer. Yeah. Take Brendan.
But me, I'm stuck on Pochettino, man, and this is why I'm saying that if we don't get top 4, then Poch needs to come in, man, and then let Poch rebuild because Ole ain't been here before. Like, how has Ole even got this job? And that's what I mean. he's not actually
sentiment,
done anything in the
of
past to
sentiment.
prove that he
of
can build a
sentiment.
team over 3 years, Lawrence. Do you know what I'm
but
saying?
Lampard as well. But Lampard as well got the job at Chelsea. Sentiment as well.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah,
had
yeah.
1 year
That's
at Derby.
definitely.
And
But then he's done all right, isn't it?
yeah, he's done well. To be fair, with what he's got, he's done outstanding.
Exactly.
That's an outstanding job. I think.
Yeah.
I think Ollie's done a good job. You're right. He's done a good job. Nothing better than good.
He's done all right. He's done all right. He's kept us in the mix anyway. But we'll wait and see.
Yeah.
Now Pogba comes back. Rashford's looking like
Have
he's
you got
back.
any injury concerns at the moment, Sam? So is everyone?
Not that I know of, man. Everybody.
Okay, that's good.
Everyone looks cooking on gas, man.
Yeah.
Luke Shaw looks like he's put on weight again, so I'm not sure.
Oh, does he? Oh no.
Yeah, waste man.
What about, is it Maguire officially captain? Yeah.
Yeah, Maguire's captain. Yeah.
If I was Ollie, I'd give it to Rashford. My opinion.
Really?
Rashford.
I'd give it Rashford. I would take Rashford at Chelsea tomorrow.
Serious?
Yeah, he's my second favourite Man United player after Pogba.
You'll take Rashford tomorrow.
I'd take Rashford tomorrow at Chelsea. 100%.
Yeah,
Rashford's unbelievable. But I think Man United fans don't appreciate him. Do you know what I mean?
No, I appreciate him, but
I mean, like the general Man United.
He's still raw. He still makes silly mistakes. His decision making at times. But he's young. He's young.
And he'd be my number 9 at Chelsea. I'd have him as number 9. Werner on the
No,
left.
Lawrence. No. He can't play number 9. This is where you don't watch enough United games.
Where would you play?
You're busy in goal playing for Leyton Orient, man. You're not watching the games. That's what it is. He can't play number 9.
Rashford, you think he's better on the out wide?
150%. When he played, and this is what we talk about: perception versus reality and the eye test. That's what I like to talk about, because people get on Martial's back and say da 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 da. When Martial got injured and Rashford came in as number 9, he was awful, week in week out. Then when Martial comes back, he drifts out wide. They start doing their thing. Then we start, and that's what it is. Rashford can't play number 9, man. He's not a number 9.
But so yeah, you could play him wide left as well. I'd play Rashford wide left at Chelsea.
Yeah.
I'd take him.
Dangerous in that position.
And this is a controversial one. I would put, if I was Liverpool, I could buy Rashford. I'd put Rashford out wide instead of Salah. My opinion, I think Rashford is better footballer than Salah.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know.
I don't think Salah is a very good footballer, if that makes sense.
Not.
I think he's very effective, and he's good for people that love statistics.
He's very athletic. He's very quick.
He bumbles the ball through
but
people's
you say that, but
runs through people.
I've never seen him beat someone 1v1. If he has space to go knock it 1v1, I've never seen it. Never.
Yeah. He likes to cut in, and then they just
likes to cut in.
Quick
I see him against Chelsea. Alonso is the slowest man on earth. Mate, Salah can't knock it. He could have knocked it and ran. He didn't do it once. Do you know what I mean? I just don't. I think Mane is way better. If you're going to sell one of them, you just sell Mane. You sell Salah tomorrow. Keep Mane.
Yeah.
You cannot sell Mane.
I agree.
Mane's sick. He can do it all, man.
I think the majority of Liverpool fans agree with that as well. I think Mane is the favourite there.
Yeah,
Salah, they think Salah's greedy as well.
I think that the way you base a footballer, especially an attacking footballer, is that if they don't score, how good were they? Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah. What else do they do in the game?
So like, for example, people would say Salah's better than Hazard. And that one was the one that would get me mad all the time, because Hazard went 10 games without scoring a goal. I didn't even know about it. No one knew about it, that he went 10 games without scoring, because he was the best player on the pitch.
The pass before the pass.
In everything that's good.
Yeah.
The assist before the assist.
Yeah.
Like he's getting it.
The
like,
Luka Modric, as they call it.
and then you got Salah. Salah goes 4 games without scoring. There's riots in Liverpool. They're going mad. You know what I mean? Man? It's like 4 games without scoring. Get him out. Sell him. This, that.
Salah is a greedy. He doesn't like to pass the ball.
He
and even
does
if someone's
not,
in a better position, he doesn't like to pass.
There's rumours that there was rumours. Obviously, I read on Twitter and stuff. I don't know, but that him and Mane don't get on. So,
is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I heard that as well.
Yeah,
I heard that as well, man.
I think there was one incident when one of them come off for the other one or something like that.
Mane was he wasn't happy when they said they kissed and made up. So
I think if you're I would sell Salah if I was Liverpool. If Real Madrid come in stupid money, obviously they want to get rid of Bale, come in and get Salah, I would sell him straight away, and I'd go and spend that money on, I don't know, someone that will link up the play better, someone that will take people on 1v1, someone that's involved in the game. That even if he doesn't score, he's involved. Like he's doing something productive.
I hear you, man. I hear you. What do you think then? Because you know what, people, for everyone who's listening, if you are still watching, give us a like and hit that subscribe button and all of that jazz. But Lawrence is the first Chelsea fan we've had on this show, you know. Episode 37, boy. First Chelsea fan we've had on the show.
Crazy.
There's not many of us.
I just don't know many of you. And the ones I do know are camera shy. You know, they hide behind their keyboards. But what do you think has happened to Hazard since he left Chelsea?
Well, you know, I thought straight away it was going to be a problem because when I see the pictures of him come back, he looked a bit overweight, didn't he? But in pre-season last year. And Hazard's one. I think at Chelsea, he just could do what he wanted. Do you know what I mean? Because he was that good. Do you know what I mean? At Real Madrid is different. It's different mentality there. You can't just be Hazard. You have to try and be the best player there.
You have to be a Galactico.
You have to be a Galactico.
You
can't just put it on one game for 20 minutes. It has to be 90 minutes. Otherwise, you will get booed out of that. You'll get booed out of that building.
Yeah,
but Champions League Bale was one there.
Yeah.
Well, still getting booed on the way to training.
I know, it's mad.
Crazy.
But we spoke about mindset on the podcast I had with you. Like when you're a player like Hazard and you get a big move to Real Madrid, what's going through your head that you allow yourself to get out of shape? Like
I just think maybe he was just too used to the way he was at Chelsea. Maybe like where he could do what he wanted, but probably he could do what he wanted, or he was because he knew he was the best player there. You could do what you want. At Real Madrid, it's different. You know what I mean? You've got people like Ramos, World Cup winner, Benzema, won everything you can win in club football. Do you know what I mean? You've got them kind of players that, and they've won all those things. And you know what happens to normal people when you get to the top? You settle.
Yeah, you take your foot off the gas. Yeah.
Whereas at Real Madrid, you can't afford to coast.
You've got to go again. You've got to go again and again and again.
They won the Champions League 3 times in 4 years, didn't they?
Yeah,
exactly.
They were fuming they didn't win it.
Yeah.
They need to win it every year.
And you need to play good football as well. It's not even just winning about it.
Exactly.
You have to look good when you're winning. So
that's the difference between a Chelsea and a United. I think's the only team in England that's on that pedestal. Do you know what I mean? Like the Real Madrid
was on it, not anymore.
But I think if you're a player and you've got and I don't know, I think the club of Man United, Maguire, for example, I think Man United, because it's Man United, he's gone to Man United.
Oh yeah, in that sense, I agree.
Do you know what I mean? And if you're that's what Man United will always have.
Yeah.
For example, I was living in Chile a few months ago, from last July, and I came back in December. The amount of Man United shirts, maybe because Alexis Sanchez as well went there, but you don't see City. I saw a couple of Tottenham, saw a few handful of Chelsea, Arsenal a little bit, but the old Alexis shirt.
Yeah.
Man United, you got Man United all over the world.
Everywhere,
everyone knows. They even call it Manchester. They don't know City. It's just Manchester is United.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? And that's how big the club is.
Yeah.
You can't even. Maybe Liverpool's up there a little bit, but I don't know.
No, they are in regards to their history. But it's only recently Liverpool have started to come back into the forefront. But even like you said, just as a Spurs fan, I was so excited when I was going to like the States and like even Nigeria, and I was starting to see people in the Spurs shirts because years ago I never saw that. It's only recently we've started to kind of get a brand overseas.
Yeah.
So
Whereas Man United have got that. They've got
exactly.
that.
They've had that from day one.
They've had that for years.
Yeah.
And that's why no matter where Man United finish, their revenue, like you always see Forbes list, it's like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Man United. No matter what, they're still third.
Yeah. Because a club like Man United will always be able to attract the top talent because of the history and
always,
the name and all
because
the
of the name. It's the name. It's the name.
Yeah.
I don't think history comes into it that much, but the name, 100%.
It's the brand.
No, but it's the history that's given them the name. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, of course.
It's the history that's given them the name. Same with the Liverpool.
Course,
Liverpool hadn't won up until now for donkey's years, but it's the history that's given them that name, which will still allow them to attract a top player.
Top players, I agree with that. And I think that's what gives Man United an instant advantage over most clubs in this country. And like, for example, if a player, for example, if Pogba wanted to go, where can he go that's as big as United? It's only Real Madrid, Barcelona.
That's actually the problem that we found ourselves in now, to be honest, is he's wanted to leave. it looks like Man United are ready to sell him, but it's where do we go? Where does he go? And that's why
maybe he can go back to Juve because he knows.
That's what I was about to say. It's either going back to Juve,
it's a Juve
or Barca,
or Real Madrid.
Or maybe a PSG, or maybe a PSG.
I don't think Pogba would. I don't think Pogba would do that. I don't think he would go PSG. And I think this was one of the issues. But for me, it's a good issue because I want to keep Pogba. You know what I'm saying? For me, he's one of the best players in the world, and people will, you can. For me, he's one of the best.
Yeah, I love Pogba. Another thing with Pogba is he gets slated in the media by everyone, but by the majority of pundits.
Yeah.
And you go and look at. I was listening to Andre Gray the other day on Instagram Live.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen it, but he done an Instagram Live with someone, and he said he can't believe that Pogba gets all that stick. Like, because he's played against Pogba countless times, can't get near him, can't get near the guy. Like, and this is why I think a lot of people, they take the opinions of a pundit and they keep it as if it's their own opinion. They don't use like you say, the eye test.
Yeah.
Like Graham Souness has hated Pogba from day one, and I've
from day one.
What's the agenda? Why does he not like him? Every time I see Pogba play, he's sick. Obviously, now and again, don't get me wrong, there is games where he doesn't play great, but that's with every footballer. But usually Pogba's a 8 or 9 out of 10. But yet Graham Souness will complain about something. Oh, he didn't pick that player up on the halfway line, and then everyone jumps on that. And
everyone jumps on. Yeah. It's like one little thing, and then and it clouds everyone's, and then everyone goes, "Oh, you know what? Pogba's." Like, he's not great.
Pogba's lazy. Pogba's this.
He's lazy.
Pogba's that.
Pogba's unbelievable. Like, just put it out there. If he leaves Man United, he's going Real Madrid. Simple as that. Do you know what I mean?
And
or he's going Juve.
And we are a lesser team without Pogba. And there's dumb United fans that think we'll be better off without him. I'm like, you lot are crazy. But it's funny that you mentioned like people, because your manager's one of them. I saw a video of him the other day, and I said it on a couple podcasts ago because he was there talking about Pogba's numbers aren't good when he was at Juventus, And then when you look, Pogba's numbers are basically identical to what he was doing at Juventus. And as I said, you would argue that he was playing in a much better team at Juventus.
Way better team.
They were winning the league. He was playing with your Pirlos and all of that. And then
Pirlo, Vidal, Marquisio was the 4. And Champions League final.
And then now, and he's still producing them numbers now. Do you know what I'm saying? It's people just, as you said, they don't drill down into it. They form their own bias. And you know what? It's a good way to segue into the next last part of the show, actually, about obviously Black Lives Matter and what's been happening. You know, obviously, it's sad what's happening over there in America to George Floyd and what's been going on. So thoughts out to his family and everybody else that's been affected by police brutality over there in the States, man. You know, Liverpool took the knee the other day, and it's come out, or I've read somewhere that Virgil van Dijk and Wijnaldum were behind that whole movement of them kneeling in training. Okay. As two black guys, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing may have experienced stuff in the past. How does that make you feel when you see Liverpool doing that, considering obviously the Suarez situation and them backing Suarez and stuff like that? What's your views?
A part of me was like, really? When I first saw it, I was just like, oh man, don't use this as a PR stunt, because this is bigger than that. And it kind of infuriated me a bit, because, you know, I mean, and again, this is just my opinion. I could be completely wrong, but when I saw it, I was like, really? You're the same guys that backed the racists till the cows came home, and even put out T-shirts with Suarez on it when he attacked Patrice Evra. And even after all this time, they only came out and apologized and said, yeah, we kind of got that one wrong. So maybe at first I was like, oh man, this stinks. But then also I thought maybe they're actually owning up to what they've not done in the past, and they're taking the first steps. So it can be looked at both ways. But at first, I can't lie, I didn't really like it. And I did think it was just them trying to jump on the wave and almost use it to get a few more likes, a few clicks. As we know, social media is so powerful. Stuff like that is going to get attention. So I was like, I hope they're not doing it for that. So I don't know. I've got mixed emotions about it, if I'm being honest.
Lawrence?
For me personally, I think it's a good step. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of, especially because in stuff like this, football doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter at all. Do you know what I mean? So it's good that clubs are using their platform, because they've got a platform with supporters all over the world to show that they're behind, you know, like the movement that's going on over here and in countless countries around the world with racism. I think obviously they've apologized profusely for the Suarez incident. I think with what happened with the Suarez incident is that I don't know. I think maybe it was because of who they played against, United. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it was blown a lot more. It was made a lot more bigger than it was. It's massive because I think it's wrong, but was obviously what happened. But I think they shouldn't have done the t-shirts. I think the t-shirts was wrong. I think they've apologized for that. I think Liverpool are, as a club, as a city, obviously having lived there. No, there's not many black people there, if I'm honest. You know what I mean? Like, so like, it's just one of those places that's, that I think for them to do what they've done with the kneeling, I think it's a good start. It's a positive start. I think it raises awareness to a lot of people up there in their communities. I think obviously in London we've got a lot of black people in London, and I think it's great what's happening. I just pray that is something that makes a change. Do you know what I mean? It makes something has to change, and even if it doesn't change now, I hope this is not like a flavor of the month. Do you know what I mean? This is what I'm praying for. I don't want it to be like we all do this black spot on Instagram and we upload to say we're black men and this and that, and then next week we forgotten about,
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
It has to be the catalyst, and it has to spark that change. And then
you see the media, they put Madeleine McCann. Do you know what I mean? And then I look at the front pages, and on all the front pages it was a picture of Maddie, and only two newspapers was about the protest.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And the timing of that was so fishy and so suspect.
Yeah, it's just like
it just clouded it out. But then talking about that, because obviously the Liverpool thing is really good, but then you've got people that are obviously known to be racist, like John Terry and Luis Suarez, who posted the black square and then turned their comments off. How do you feel about something like that?
Yeah, I just think, is this what I mean when I say it's like a flavour? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like everyone's doing it, so let's just do
like
it.
A PR stunt, exactly.
Yeah,
I
I haven't posted on my Instagram a photo saying I'm a black man, but everyone else has posted and added me in it. I've reposted it and put the hand
and commented,
just and commented on every photo because I just don't want it to be something where it's today we're talking about racism and then tomorrow we're talking about the gay community or the LGBT community or all of that, and then the next day we're talking about these all things that need to come to a head. Do you know what I mean? There needs to be change. Do you know what I mean? And it's more deep rooted than football. Do you know what I mean? Way more important than football. I don't care that deep down. I don't really care that Chelsea or Liverpool or Tottenham are doing knees in training. We need to, as black people,
eradicate
fighting, not fighting physically, but fighting
of course.
to change what's going on, because it's not on. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, I was speaking to my girlfriend, actually. We're talking about how in America, a lot of black Americans, they call them African Americans. They are American people. They're not, like in England, we're like second or third generation Africans or Caribbeans. Do you know what I mean? Whereas they are 500 plus years of living in America. Do you know what I mean? So they don't know their heritage, where their ancestors are from, because they came over and they were slaves, and then they don't know. Like, do you know what I mean? They haven't got a clue. And all of that time, and I know this is getting political, sorry, but
this is fine.
All that time they've been treated as second-class citizens, which is, to be honest with you, that's disgraceful. Do you know what I mean? They've lived in America the same amount of time as everyone else. Do you know what I mean? And they've been treated as, which is why things need to change out there. And I see the pictures on the news every day, and I feel happy. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, sometimes the media put out the looting and stuff. That's a distraction, because I see millions of videos on Twitter and on social media of people protesting peacefully. They don't put that on the news.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So just mentioning that, because a friend of mine said today, it's all kicking off at the protest today. Today we're recording, this is Saturday, what's today, the 6th of June, I believe. And,
6th of June.
And we've had friends there that's been there for the whole time, and they've been like, what it's kicking
exactly
off.
What violence? It's
peaceful.
fine. It's beautiful.
And it's like raw. So why is that not being promoted? Do you know what I mean? And that's why
it doesn't fit the agenda.
And for me, that's why, like, we talk about change and hope, and you've got Liverpool doing that and loads of brands, and, you know, and fair to a lot of, you know, white people out there that are recognized and are trying to stand with us on this. But the people who control the world, they don't want change. And they're the ones who hold all the cards. They're the ones who they control the world. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's for me why I feel like this is going to take a long, this is generations and generations before this will ever change. And it's funny because I was speaking to someone the other day who was like, oh no, you know, by the time the next generation comes, my kids come and everything, that it will. And I'm like, nah. This is generations away before we ever see change. And obviously we can be out there protesting and we can try and do all of the right things, but I just don't see change, man. Because as I say, the media, for example,
it's deep rooted in society. Do you know what I mean? And maybe, you know, your white neighbor next door or whatever, they're not racist, but it's deep rooted in, with, you're right, with the top people. Is deep. Look at Brexit, for example. Of all the things that they used for Brexit, the one that stuck out, immigration, because foreign people come here and do jobs that no one wants to do.
Yeah.
And they were talking about building a new hospital. They were talking about all these things that if we left the European Union, we'd have all these things. The one thing that stuck was the immigration. Do you know what I mean? That's why they won. Do you know what I mean? It's that it's not even off. It's not even off. Like all the other policies didn't matter. It was, we need to get all these people that are not from the European Union out of our country. What? Like I don't understand it. But do you know what I mean? That's just why I say it's deep rooted. And then people that don't know no better, they get sucked into that. Especially when you live in a village outside in the suburbs, in the middle of nowhere, where you don't see a black person. What did they say? Oh, I didn't know black people could be so nice. What? Do you know what I mean?
You hear that all the time. Oh, I didn't know you guys could, you know, like, where did you grow up? How come you speak like that? Everyone around me speaks like that. But they don't understand because they don't know any better.
Of course.
So
they don't know.
You know.
And it's sad that the world, 2020, you know, 2020 we're in, the world is like that. It's sad. That's the thing that saddens me the most. And that's why I pray that this movement now is not something that we do for a month and then in 3 months' time we don't care about no more.
But it will be, Lawrence. I'm just saying it. I'm just calling it how it is. This is just it's the new hype, and in a month or however long it will be forgotten about, and everyone will go about their lives and nothing will be done. That's just the reality of the situation, in my opinion, anyway.
You know, in situations like this, you've got a lot of black big names in the black community, you know, like LeBron James, you've got your Kanye West, you've got all those big names. They're all protesting, they're all putting out tweets, and I agree with everything they're saying and what they're doing. What you need is a white man, a big named white man to come out and say, this is wrong. We haven't had one of them yet. Why are they quiet? We need someone like Beckham, big name in England. To come out and say,
I've seen a few American. I mean, obviously, like I'm massively into basketball, so a few American white people have come out, like Popovich, who's the San Antonio Spurs coach.
Yeah,
he came out. He put out a deep video. I'll send it to you guys later. It's 3 minutes long, and even breaks down. Yeah, Steve Nash as well. But you're right. But these are guys that are almost essentially they've grown up in the black community.
They're playing.
I know what you mean. You need a Beckham. You need a name brand white person to come out.
A big name white person to come out and say, this is not on anymore. Like, I don't understand, but they won't. I don't understand why they don't do it. Do you know what I mean?
They I guess sometimes you got to be real as well. They feel that it's going to go against their brand.
Their brand,
it's going to go against their followers, and they don't want to. They don't want to upset their followers, and they don't want to potentially upset their sponsors. And let's be real, that's the reason why they won't speak out on it.
Of course, and it's sad. It's sad that you're so worried about your brand.
Like that. Exactly.
That you can't voice your actual opinion on something. Do you know what I mean? It's sad.
But then
I feel like,
then we have to also think about the fact is, what is their deep opinion? Do you know what I mean? That's the other thing.
Maybe it isn't.
That's what we have to also consider. That we might see, and again, I'm not talking about Beckham in this regard, but you know, for example, as we're talking about Beckham deep down may not be on this Black Lives Matter sort of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Because many people now with the All Lives Matter Brigade and all of them.
Yeah, no, like when we say Black Lives Matter, it doesn't mean Black Lives Matter and an Asian life and a white life don't matter. It means Black Lives Matter as much as your life, as much as a white person's life.
And we're bringing attention to all of the injustices because
a lot of people take it out of context. A lot of people take it out of context. They put it as, oh, so Black Lives Matter. So what about white lives? What about Asian lives? What about Chinese lives? Do you know what I mean? It's not that. We're just saying Black Lives Matter. They to a lot of people, Black people are nothing. We're still second-class citizens. Do you know what I mean? We're saying our lives matter as much.
Just as much as yours.
Yeah, just as much as your life.
We just want equality. Yeah, we want an equal shot. We want a fair shot. That's all we want. And it's like the same thing, you know, if I was petitioning against breast cancer, no one would come in and say, oh, what about lung cancer? You would jump behind me and say, you know, do you know what I mean? It's that
look at that man. Sorry to cut you, but sorry, but I'm just thinking here. Remember that guy in the NFL for the 49ers, Colin Kaepernick?
Yeah, Colin Kaepernick.
He was kneeling for this exact movement. Yeah. He was kneeling. He hasn't played a game since. Exactly. Hasn't played a second of football. Yeah. Can't get contract. Can't get any work.
And he was one of the best players in the league as well before all this happened. He got blacklisted.
Cannot get a job. And now they're saying, that's how people should approach. That's how people should protest. If you want to protest, kneel for the national anthem. Do this, do that. But when he was doing it, then he was blacklisted. So what do you do? Do you know what I mean? It's just like you can't win in this situation, and that's what saddens me. That's what annoys me the most. They can't win in that situation against people that are so deep rooted in how things should be that you can't win. Do you know what I mean?
But this is it as well. Is that when we're talking about, you know, you need that big white man to come out and say this ain't wrong. We also need these big institutions like your NFLs, your basketballs, and your Premier Leagues, and
the NFL have come out,
but not just coming out but showing it, you know, actions over a period of time. Because if we look at English football, for example, you know, where are the black referees? You know, where are the black managers? So we need things to change, not just now, but we need to see action and a change over a consistent period of time where you then start to because it's all well and good coming out and saying and like was talking about PR stunt and actions speak louder than words.
Of course,
let's start to see some real change in our games, man.
You made a great point, Sebs, because look at the amount of black players we've got in the Premier League, for example, and that doesn't transition up to your even your medical staff, your assistant managers, your managers. The numbers so disproportionate compared to A, society, and B, the black players that are playing in each of the leagues. So it's like, why is that?
No, I'll give you another example as well. Here's a big one. A lot of people might not like him, but Sol Campbell. First job he gets, bottom of League Two. Lampard and Gerrard, first job they get. Lampard gets a team that just come out of the playoffs the season before. Gerrard goes to the second or biggest club in Scotland.
Do
you know what I mean? That's their first job in football. Sol Campbell has to go and grind it out at a League Two club, gets them safe from relegation, leaves because he's not getting paid or whatever was happening there, goes to Southend, like bottom of League One, gets a move to bottom of League One. Lampard has gone from Derby to Chelsea. Gerrard is getting linked with Leicester if Brendan Rodgers goes. Do you know what I mean? And these are people at the same stage of their careers, like in terms of their managerial career. Look at that. Do you know what I mean? It's just
exactly.
It's just it's crazy. To be fair, when I was at Spurs, I did get to work with two great coaches, Les Ferdinand and Chris Ramsey, who are both at QPR now. Les Ferdinand is doing director of football something there, which he must be one of the only black men there on the board, in that role. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, so sad about Hugo Effield dying as well, him passing away, because he was destined for good things as well.
Yeah, of course. You know, the good thing with Spurs was they always did employ a lot of, it wasn't just about your colour why you get employed. You get employed because of how good you are. And Hugo was great. Chris Ramsey, fantastic. Les Ferdinand, great as well. And they're all black men, but we never looked at them as black men. We looked at them as, they were just our coach.
They're just good at their job.
Just good at your job. If you're good at your job, no matter what skin colour you are, you should get that job. Do you know what I mean? And that's what we say when Black Lives Matter, because I saw that the Premier League, there's a thing called the Rooney Rule, that they have a thing in the EFL. So if if a manager gets sacked, if a black man applies for a job, he has to get an interview.
Yeah.
which I think, or a black or minority.
Yeah.
Apply for a job. They have to have an interview, at least one of them, and they have that in the NFL as well. Personally, I think that's awful, my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I think it's just all right, mate.
It's a token gesture.
Token. You say thank you for the interview. You know, deep down, you're not going to appoint him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just. I just feel like no matter what your skin color is, if you're good at your job, you should get that job. If your personality is good, if you have, especially in football, if you've got a great personality, you're great at taking training, you should get that job. I mean, I've never worked with Sol Campbell, but a lot of people say he's a good manager. You know what I mean? Like he should never have started that low if Lampard and Gerrard were going to get those. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy because he's a name brand player. He's a
name brand player.
He's one of the best.
I mean, he has made
generation.
A lot of controversial. He has made a lot of controversial statements.
Yeah, and he said a lot of silly things as well. Like, I mean, he was getting interviewed after the game, and he said his team. You know, I can't remember exactly what it was, but he mixed the name of his team with another team. So it's like, like that. Like really, but yeah. So he's not done himself any favors. Of you not getting a better job than no disrespect to Macclesfield. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, but I think he's just wanted a job just to get a job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he probably knew he's not going to get a derby.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. You know
anyway, man, where do we?
I know it got really political there. I know it got really. But it's good. You know, it's good to raise awareness especially for younger kids growing up that probably don't understand, or they probably see the movements going on and they don't know exactly what's been going on because they're too young to know about.
It's important.
You know what I mean? History.
My daughter's 9 years old, and you know we showed her what happened to George Floyd. We showed her about the protests. We showed her the Hate You Give film, I think it's called.
Hate You Give.
Yeah, and I think it's important that, you know, some people, obviously you bring up the kids the way you decide to bring up your kids. But for me personally, I've always thought that, yes, I want you to have a childhood and enjoy your childhood and stuff, but life is going to throw things at you, and I want you to be prepared to handle that, and you can't hide away from the real world. So I think it's important that she knows what happens, and she knows that and I've always told her, you know, that tune Brown Skin Girl, I'm always like, your brown skin is beautiful. Do you know what I'm saying? Because
of course.
because as a young girl, she's hearing things in school now. This is what I mean, you know, about her skin color and stuff like that. Oh, wow. So I think it's important that, like what you said, that our kids understand, the next generation understand. And that's why I wanted to take it there, to be honest with you, Lawrence. I wanted to bring some awareness to what we're going through in this time on this podcast, because I think it's an important issue. So I'm happy that we had this discussion. As I said, I'm not sure where we go from here. I don't think that change will happen in the short term. But
I hope you're wrong, Samps. I hope you're wrong. Obviously, you know, I know you're just speaking your honest truth, but I hope you're wrong. I hope the brands do start really pumping money into the community, bringing some light into the initiatives. I know Nike, Converse, Michael Jordan, a lot of brands that have really stepped forward now and said that they're gonna.
But then again, you see Converse. Converse again is a basketball brand.
Yeah,
you know, it's a basketball trainer. No one ever knew that. I didn't even know that till recently.
Yep.
Converse was the first official trainer of the NBA.
From watching The Last Dance, I know that now.
Yeah. The Chuck Taylor, their original basketball trainers. That was
the original basketball trainers. And it's like these things. Basketball is a game that's originated in the streets of poor neighborhoods in America.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I'm happy that I'm seeing Nike, especially Michael Jordan. He's put 100 million, I think they put in. Yeah. They're going to donate to charity and stuff like that. I think that's fantastic. Do you know what I mean? And it shows that, you know, if we stick together, I think there will be a change. But I think I'm with Sense in the sense that might not be for a long, long time. I just hope it is, but I can't see it. I just think the world is too deep rooted in
systematic racism.
Yeah, systematic racism.
Yeah.
Look at the man. Look at the idiot that's president of America now. You know what
I know. Yeah.
I mean, what chance we got when they elect him? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's just like same as the guy we got here. It's just like you're right. It's just, sometimes it can be subtle racism as well. You know, like They do it without even knowing. Just because
that's what we get in England. We get the subtle
Yeah.
racism. In America, they get the blatant racism.
Yeah.
It's blatant.
In England, we get the subtle, and then they think that racism doesn't exist over here. It does.
Yeah.
It's just undercover. They're clever.
Yeah.
They,
I mean,
they ain't
there
got,
was
they
a
ain't got
clip
the-
earlier. There was a clip earlier of Rio Coca and Darren Bent talking about young black kids in academies
Yeah.
on
Okay.
Sky Sports. I think you should give that a watch after.
Yeah, man, definitely.
They're talking about how hard it was for a young black kid compared to a young white kid coming through an academy. The young black kid has things that they get said about them, that they're troublesome, or that, do you know what I mean? That they once they get paid a lot of money, they're going to go off the rails and stuff like that. It's not the case. You know what I mean? I've played my whole career with black players.
Yeah,
It's not the case. Do you know what I mean? And some of the most sensible players I've played with are black guys.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it's just an easy cop out. Do you know what I mean? If a black player does something off the field, it's I knew he was going to do that. I knew he was going to be.
And we're always fighting that battle, isn't it? Anytime you do something wrong, it's we knew you was going to do that. You know what I mean?
It's just
like we can make mistakes just like the white person can make mistakes.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. But when Jack Grealish makes a mistake and another mistake and another mistake, he's just a lad. It's just Jack.
He's a young kid.
But then if Sterling does it now,
I know.
all hell breaks
Exactly.
loose.
To be fair, well done to Sterling for that post. I think it was last year, wasn't it? After the Chelsea game.
Was it last year?
I think it was last year, yeah. Fantastic post, isn't it?
It was.
And then he hit the nail on the head. And from then, he hasn't really had bad press.
No. They've backed off now.
Their whole outlook changed after that. Their whole outlook on him changed.
I don't think their outlook changed. They just realised that they can't mess with him now.
They can't get away with
it. They can't get at him. Their outlook ain't changed, P. All it is like let's focus. No, they still it's all the same thing. All it is that they said, you know what? Let's leave him over there because we ain't ready for that fight that he's bringing.
Yeah, we don't want it.
Let's focus on the other players that don't say nothing back, i.e. your Paul Pogba's and other players that just keep.
Yeah, like Paul Pogba gets it, and I think that's blatant. Like it's just.
Yeah, but he ain't. Some people you should just come out and fight your corner, but you know what? Like what Sterling.
I think some
people feel that is, especially Pogba and probably Sterling for years. He probably thought, "What's the point?" Like, I'm gonna. And I watched the Gary Neville bit on Monday Night Football, and Gary Neville hit the nail on the head. A lot of people are so worried about the actual football and all that, they don't care about the whole how Sterling feels as a player. How he feels as a person. Sorry, they don't care because they just wanted the best Sterling on the pitch. They didn't care about all the rubbish he's dealing with off it.
Yeah.
And he probably thought, if I come out and say this article, I'm going to get battered for it. And to be fair to him, it's gone the other way, isn't it? Like, they've stopped. They've backed off him because before he was flying on EasyJet. He's getting battered for it.
Yeah.
Private jet, he gets battered for it. So what can he do?
He went out and he went out after an award show and bought breakfast. He got battered for it. It was just crazy. Silly things. Rises him on the house, they batter him for it. It was crazy.
Yeah, man. Anyway, boys, we're gonna have to wrap up there. This has been brilliant. I appreciate you guys. Thank you both for coming on, man. I really enjoyed that. And, we're definitely going to be doing it again. Hopefully you can come on another one, Lawrence. On another episode.
Yeah, of course. Let me know.
Let everybody know where they can find you, please, Lawrence.
Lawrence V93 is my Twitter and Instagram handles.
Brilliant. And
wicked.
Young Swaggy Daniels, it's good to have you back in the house.
Yes, I'm back.
Nice. All right, man. So that was Everyone's a Pundit. We are your pundits. That was episode 37. We are out, people. Bless. Stay safe.
Nice.